So I've been noticing lately about the discussion that's been going on as of this week. Well, besides the censoring of certain individuals, which, by the way, it is a pity, it's a shame, and this is the reason why if you are in this in the long run, you want to have multiple streams of media besides YouTube, because we all know that YouTube is trying to go in the direction that is friendly to advertisers and to butthurt, lispy individuals who get mad when some other YouTube commentators talk trash about them and roast them. So apparently you can't roast anyone anymore, at least no one who works for the mainstream media. But as far as the other issue that I want to talk about, other individuals have talked about this, specifically LAR Movement, O'Shea Duke Jackson, and even indirectly Edward Innocent and Donovan Sharp. Granted, the latter was more due to an in-house issue, but we won't get into that. But what we will get into is this issue, this epidemic. And yes, I'm calling it an epidemic at this point because this has been the one thing that, at least in my lifetime, has caused the destruction of a lot of talent, the squandering of a lot of potential, and the outright banishment of your best and brightest. And that one word is swag. Yes, a lot of people want to use that term swag in a way that's harmless and in a way that means, oh, you're good with women, you got game, man. All I need to do is talk literally like this, like I have an 80 IQ in the hood, and all I gotta do is carry a hot pocket on my belt bucket or belt buckle. Oh, y'all know what I mean. Girl, they love this. You know, they love the swag though. That's swag. We have to look at this for what it is. The swag that the community loves, adores, and respects. What is called swag in the community, we all know what swag means. But outside of that community, within real communities, we see that there are multiple ways to have swag. Whether it's edgy kind of swag, whether it's a jockey kind of swag, whether it's a preppy kind of swag, or even a nerdy kind of swag. As long as you are considered alpha or select in that environment, then you, according to the consensus of whatever community you're in, have the swag. You have the juice. You have what it takes. But within the former rotten corpse of the so-called black community, the only kind of swag that is acceptable, we know what kind of swag that is. That is hood swag. That is gutter swag. That is anti-intellectual swag. For all of you who watched my video earlier this week, I want to thank you for sitting through that as I told my personal story on why I left the community. And if you want to hear my story on why I left, then go ahead and watch it. I know it's like 80 minutes long, but let's be honest. 80 minutes versus 8 hours, which seems to be the average time of streams these days, I mean, you can bear it. But as far as the reason why I left the community, I'll sum it up in a short way in stating this. One of the main reasons, not the only, but one of the main reasons, was that my kind of swag wasn't the acceptable kind of swag. It wasn't the hood kind of swag. The hood kind of swag that any mediocre Negro who is desperate enough to lower his IQ, or at least acts like his IQ is below 100, can imitate. And a lot of people will try to rationalize and say, I'm just switching code. I'm switching the code. I'm being so nonconformist that I'm switching code. You gotta switch the code. You don't know where you are, man. You can talk that perfect talk when you're in corporate America, but when you're in the streets, you has to be street. No, not has. You's got to be streets. You's got to be streets and use every sort of inarticulate, illiterate kind of English use could. Y'all want to piss off Big Mama, you know. Y'all want to piss off the Scraggle Daggles. Don't go piss off Pookie and Ray Ray. I ain't scared, but you know, you got to keep the peace. Yes, Master Pookie.
Oh yeah, you want me to speak like an inarticulate dozier, like I just got out of slavery or a rap video? Okay, I will, in order for you to feel better about yourself. So you guys won't jump me, because I ain't got the heart to face the community. So I was gonna conform to the community. That's what it's all about. A lot of conformists, a lot of wussies, a lot of punks. And that's what I saw when I grew up. And that's what I still see to this very day. That hood swag, that hood culture, that hood way of life. Haven't blacks learned enough how swag can cost them everything? I mean, look at this. Blacks are at the bottom of everything good and at the top of everything bad. And you know why? A lot of people want to blame white supremacy or even women. Some of these people want to even blame the women. All women. Or the men. They want to blame the men for not being at home because some scraggle-daggle ran the man off when you had a man that was actually willing to work and take care of his kids. And to not speak as if he just came out of slavery or a rap video. That's what this is. You know what? As far as this is concerned, this has to stop. This swag culture has to die. You know what? At this point, here's the only thing I have to say. Change what it means to have swag, or find yourself in the permanent underclass. Because a lot of this anti-intellectual, you can't speak with a proper tone, you can't use verb-subject agreement correctly without being called a coon and a buffoon, a Sambo and Uncle Tom, the list goes on. That is what's causing the demise of the ADOS black race. Don't hand me this racism and white supremacy stuff. Don't hand me a legacy of some folktale or some dude named Jim Crow. Anyone under the age of 50, shut the hell... No, anyone under the age of 60, shut the hell up. Because you know why? A lot of you didn't live through it. A lot of you were born because of the sacrifices that those in the past who really faced slavery and Jim Crow went through and were born into rather miraculous circumstances. And yet, a lot of you squandered it away on being the coolest cat in the block, for trying to be Cool Breeze and whatever the predecessor to Shaniqua and Scraggle Daggle was. That's what I see within the community. That is what I've noticed. That is what I have seen throughout my lifetime. And I'm 32 years old. And a lot of people say, you ain't seen nothing, kid. You sit down. You listen to your elders. What damn elders? Elders who conform? Elders who didn't have the balls to maintain the patriarchy? Elders who acquiesced to Scraggle Daggles? Elders who threw their kids under the bus just so they can be the HNIC? Elders who dropped the fucking ball? What elders? All I see are odors. For the most part, I see odors. And odors who are barking at me because I left the community? Shame on you. Shame on you. Talking to me as if I'm supposed to be your beta bucks. As if I'm supposed to be your scapegoat. As if I'm supposed... Well, I was already a scapegoat because you ain't gotten swag. As if I was supposed to be your bailout plan. Well, look here, douchebag. I'm no one's bailout plan. I made a video about that. You may want to check it out sometime. Any of you who want to ascribe to the fact that educated you-know-what should be the bailout plan after the community has had its fun and has gotten caught up. I'm not your bailout plan. But as far as the swag thing is concerned, you know when it hit me? You know exactly when it hit me? I was hanging out with a couple of friends of mine, and this was from around the time I was 16 years old. This was after work, hanging out with them, chopping it up. Actually, I was 17, scratch that. I was hanging out with them, chopping it up. Well, we were playing Super Smash, alright? We were playing Super Smash, and if you were listening to my long video on why I left the community, I quite frankly sucked ass at it. Granted, I was good at everything else, but Super Smash, yeah, I still suck at it.
But we had a couple of individuals come down, and unbeknownst to us, these were chicks. Chicks coming down to the basement because apparently the basement's only reserved for the incels who play video games and watch porn. Well, maybe half of that was true. But as far as this occasion, you had cute girls, pretty cute girls who came from rich families, right? And unbeknownst to me, I had the attention of one of these chicks. One of these chicks who, out of nowhere, just grabbed my controller, ended up teaching me how to play, or at least she tried. But at the end of the night, none of that mattered. Because apparently, when she saw me, she noticed that I had a certain kind of swag. Now, was that kind of swag the hood swag that the community and the Scraggle Daggles and their Pookie and Ray Ray pawns insist you to have? Oh yeah, don't forget about the odors. The odors, they want you to have that swag too, believe it or not. Nah, it wasn't that kind of swag. It was a mix of the swag that you see me have today, along with a bit of a nerdier kind of swag. Yeah, I was more into the video games back then. Told you guys about the story of me wearing video game t-shirts to school, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And I was actually wearing one of those t-shirts when we were all just hanging out there. And apparently, you'd have thought that my race would have attracted her to me. No. After we did our thing, she specifically wanted to do one thing. And that was to wear my shirt in order to sleep in it. Literally sleep in it. But the shirt I had was actually a shirt of the original Metroid for the NES. And she actually stated that what piqued her interest to me was that exact shirt. Now, could that ever have been done in the community? Do you ever hear a story like that in the community? But it dawned on me that night. Slowly but surely. And I realized that outside the community, as long as you have some sort of appeal, as long as you can keep yourself in decent shape, as long as you can have some sort of masculinity and some sort of testosterone to you, it doesn't matter if you sound like this, or if you sound like this, or if you sound like this. As long as you are interesting, as long as you're not just this lifeless stiff that comes along and tries to act proper 24/7, as long as you are a man, you have swag. And that's what the community needs, now more than ever. I'm giving you mediocre Negroes the cheat code. Yes, I'm being cocky like this, because I faced a lot at the hands of a lot of you. And a lot of you are saying, oh, why are you getting this cheat code? Because you hate. I don't hate you. You're not worthy of the hate, for starters. And second, the best revenge for me, after what I faced in the hands of the authoritarian community, is to kick ass. That's my way of getting back and giving back. Here's a little tip for all of you who insist on saving the community. Raise your sons to have a form of swag that doesn't resemble hood culture. And more importantly, have your daughters raised to ooh and ah and cream and select men who don't have hood swag. It can be jock swag, it can be preppy swag, it can be nerdy swag. Preferably all three of those, and any other form of swag that doesn't thrive off anti-intellectualism, violence, crime, death, destruction, or anything else that has caused the community, the black community, to be the former rotting corpse of the so-called black community. That is what needs to happen. But we all know why that's not going to happen. Because you have a bunch of mediocre Negroes, some even up to their 40s and 50s, who benefited off that hood swag. Because they didn't need to bring much to the table. They didn't need to step up to the plate. Not outside of having a little mouthpiece, a little hood swag, a little bling bling, nah me shorty, all that other corny ass crap. All the other yes'm boss'm, yes'm mammy, yes'm pookie, yes'm shaniqua crap. They didn't need to do that. And a lot of these people are afraid, even up to their 40s and 50s, when half of them can't even function. I mean, they know all about that ED, so They're still cock blocking, even though their body's supposed to pick a threat. The cock blocking them more than some thinking black men or educated you know what could. They still insist on having this hood swag because, quite frankly, if that hood swag went away, and if the community decided to be a community and say, look at Lamont, look at Marcus. They're smart men. They go to the gym. They stay out of trouble. And they're a bit interesting. Let me introduce my daughter to them. And let me, better yet, teach my daughter to systematically get wet for them. To put out for them. Instead of these daggles teaching their sons and daughters, well, mainly daughters, but in some cases sons, but teaching their daughters for the most part that, man, y'all need to be messing with those cornballs, ain't got no game. You need to get with a real B. You need to get with a real G. He gonna take care of you. He got that drug dope money though, and he gonna bring you the finest stuff. He's gonna splurge on you though. But he got money though. He got swag though. But mom, he ain't got money. He's a dope boy in the block. He barely makes anything to afford some Jordans and an Xbox. Whereas Lamont, he has a YouTube channel with over 5 million views. And he does tech stuff. Bitchin' tech stuff is ill, man. And I be saying, how, Sway? How? And he has a full ride scholarship to Caltech, Stanford, MIT, and Oxford. I don't even know where Oxford is. Or even Marcus. He has a Twitch channel with over 500,000 subs. And he got scholarships to all these colleges and these programs. And guess what? He got in the phase though. He got in the phase. And he is getting 90% off everything. He isn't getting gypped like Phase Tfue is. Marcus Smart though. He's a real G. I want to be with them, ma. Come on, ma. But yeah, I don't care though. He got swag though. He got swag. He got that hood swag. Girl, let me tell you about the men that I got with when I was thin, young, and tight. Mama, you mean the men that pumped and dumped you and left you with me and 5 other kids? Who you talking to like that? Girl, go to your room. Girl, go. I'll beat your ass. I'ma beat your ass. That is the community in a nutshell. And a lot of these scraggle-daggles don't want to tell you that it's beyond social programming. It's beyond some sort of ancient imprint of the warrior class. It's beyond that crap. This is all social program bullshit. That's what it is. All this because you didn't see this crap before the welfare state, did you? You didn't see big booty bone queeses running around and mediocre Negro saying, oh, she fun though. She got an ass though. She can croak it though. You didn't see that before the welfare state. You didn't see this thug love before the welfare state, did you? And everyone trying to defend it and defend the Pookie Railroad. You didn't see this crap. Enough is enough. You want to save your community? You want any chance of getting out of the underclass and avoiding becoming a permanent one. If you want to avoid being that third part of Black America and the 3 fates of Black America and having the other 2 basically trying to nix your ass, Black immigrant class and the biracial class, if you want any solidarity with them and if you don't want smoke with the other racists in the future, because this PC stuff's going out the window. Hope you know. Anyone who has any basic knowledge of politics, you should realize that the ADOS blacks are being pushed aside for Latinos, LGBTs, and Transformers. And I'm not talking about the LGBT Transformers neither. I'm talking about the AI robot class that's coming. You watch out for them. Hell, at this point, the Pokemon probably took over you. They'll probably be a voting bloc that the Democrats will pander to in the next 50 years. So, if you guys, the community, wants to be respected so bad, then respect those who are worthy enough of respect. Everyone else out there, always bet on X.